The inevitability. Daylight breaking through a dusty window with newspaper excerpts glued to it illuminates the apartment of an ordinary five-story Khrushchev. My tired eyes slowly and reluctantly opened under the pressure of the sun's rays. Rising to the table, I grabbed another bottle of vodka that was in reserve. Yes, I did not remember what it was. I did not care. After all, everything I loved, everything I hoped for, all died, burned down and was torn apart in the first days of the epidemic of the new virus. I got up, looked around. There were empty glasses on the floor, cigarette butts, dried tear marks. Opening a newspaper clipping and looking feverishly towards the checkpoint opposite my house, I yawned. Not so long ago the military were here. They put up fierce resistance to the infected, perhaps because they did not make their way to this part of the city. However, the soldiers left the area. I believe that they deserted, because the government fell a couple of weeks ago, and their command went into underground bunkers, abandoning them to their fate. Now they abandoned us, the residents. I reached out, checked the supplies of canned food, water, a couple dozen batteries, a kitchen knife for self-defense, and most importantly, a couple of boxes of alcoholic beverages, which I carefully store from the very beginning of all this total shit. I looked at the time. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I sat down by the window and looked at the first bottle that came to hand, something new, Calvados. I haven't drunk it in a long time, since my student days. Oh, there were times. After taking a couple of sips, you involuntarily start remembering the past. You know, all these movies and TV series lied to us about the apocalypse. Mentally strong, clean and muscular main characters kill a bunch of zombies and a couple dozen more bandits and cannibals. It's all bullshit. The psyche of healthy people broke down at the very beginning, when everyone was trying to find their loved ones and get out somewhere far away. But it wasn't that simple. It all started with the fact that the temperature became too warm this season of the year. In October it couldn't be plus 28. Then people began to get sick, something similar to SARS at the beginning, only now, with additions in the form of spitting blood and filling their eyes with it. Then the infected began to show aggression and attack people. The only joke is that these are not stupid dead. These creatures are still alive. Only now they see ordinary people as running stakes, and they kill in completely different ways. Depending on mutations, some with the help of hands and teeth, some with knives and batons. There were cases of using firearms. In a couple of months the main cities fell. In 2 more months the whole country was at the mercy of these freaks. They hear everything. They know how to open doors, climbing on roofs, luring into traps. Bitch, it's just a new generation bioweapon. I survived only because in the first days I bought the necessary things and sat at home listening to the radio. I didn't try to get my family out, because almost immediately the roads were blocked by roadblocks and they didn't allow me to go to another part of the city. I tried, but a couple of blows from the butt and a shot near my ear forced me to retreat. In the first 2 days my parents stopped contacting me, then the girl, then my friends. I was left alone against this evil present. I opened my eyes again in total darkness, illuminated only by the moon. Damn it, did I pass out? I look at the time, 2 a.m. Outside the window there is silence, dead silence. The survivors like me are sitting at home, but these creatures have learned to find us. They listen, lean their heads against the doors of houses and listen attentively. They use crowbars, break out windows, climb walls, and climb onto the balcony. I closed everything I could, barricaded myself. But I know it won't help if they hear me. I close my eyes, but suddenly I heard a man shuddering scream. Some poor guy. Didn't have time to return before nightfall. I feverishly, with shaking hands, pick up a piece of newspaper. Peering into the darkness of the courtyard, I see him running, and then I'm thrown into such a panic that I've never experienced before. 5 bodies running after him, not running like people, on all fours, like dogs, heads unnaturally turned down, their eyes full of madness, looking out from under their foreheads. They move their limbs so fast, and it seems like they're about to catch up. With the guy, he pulls out a gun, fires a couple of shots and runs into my entrance. I almost scream when I watch as not 5 bodies run after him into the same entrance, but a fucking crowd of these creatures. I see their disfigured grimaces, their eyes covered in blood, their incredibly pale faces. One of them stops, gets to his feet and starts looking at my window. My heart, it seems to me it's going to stop now. I jump away from the window, trying to imagine that this is all a nightmare and I'm about to wake up. I hear scuffling in the entrance. I hear how these creatures caught up with the man. I hear his screams and sobs accompanied by the sounds of tearing flesh and crunching bones. I just pray that the one who looked out the window did not have time to see me. The screams subsided. There was only a nasty slurping and crunching of the skull. I sit by the window and try not to breathe. I hear the creatures starting to leave the house. I'm afraid to look through the peephole, but I have to understand what's going on outside the door. I step closer, slow down, very carefully approach the peephole, and then I felt a chill piercing to the bone marrow. I felt a horror that makes my heart jump out of my chest. Outside my door, one of them was standing. He put his head against my door and listened attentively. I do not know how long he was standing there, whether he heard my step. I just froze, trying not to breathe, trying to imagine that I was a ghost, that I did not exist. In this terrible world, the creature stood motionless. I gradually began to suffocate. I did not blink. I looked at the dirty, once human creature, incredibly swollen veins on its shoulders, bloody teeth, pieces of hanging flesh, hair pulled out in some areas of its head. It moved away from my door and gradually began to go backwards, looking with crazy and bulging eyes at my door. When it came down, I just sat on the floor, sat for 2 minutes. I was already starting to pass out from the horror I had experienced, and then I realized this creature had been climbing onto my balcony all this time.